Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Hump Day. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Can't believe it, folks, but today is the first day of December, the last month of the year, last month of the fourth quarter. Wow, what a year. Time has flying, isn't it? Today I want to talk to you about something very important. It being the first episode of the last month of the quarter, or of the year, actually, and a quarter. I want to talk to you about something that you guys probably don't think about. And that's about, does your website have an insurance policy on it? And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. And you're probably thinking, what the heck are you talking about, Frank? It's not a car. Yeah, it's not a car. You're right. But I'll get into why I'm asking that question in a few minutes. I just want to, but before I do so, I want to remind you guys that this is the last month that you have to order my book, 7 Steps to Recession Proofing Your Business. First of all, I want to thank everyone who has already taken us up on that offer. And we're meeting with you guys. As we speak, we're scheduling out our meetings with you next month. Looking forward to it. We're doing all of our analysis, and you will be receiving your actual report of the data of the marketing plan shortly. And then after that, we'll schedule a meeting over the phone so we can go over the data, because the data can be a little daunting sometimes. But anyway, I digress. And let me go back to what I was saying. If you have not taken action on that, I would ask you to go right now to my website, lbmsllc.com/book. Purchase the book. After that, you will get a series of emails seeing how you can take advantage of the offer that we're giving you. The offer is we're going to do everything that's in that book and schedule out a roadmap plan for your particular business for the entire year of 2022. And that is a free service that we're offering between now and the end of this month, the 31st of December. Again, that's a $500 value. We usually do that for people for $500. We're doing it for free just so that you get the book and see that we are implementing everything that we talk about on the book. So I ask you guys to take advantage of that now. I'm only doing it as a heads up because we've had a decent response. I'm only doing it for 3 more. Three more people. Someone just purchased a book late yesterday, so I just remembered. So 3 more people will be able to get this offer. So if you want to be one of the last 3, feel free to take us up on it. Okay, so moving right along, the question of the day is, does your website have an insurance policy? Here's what I mean by that. Lots of people, we as you guys know, we are also not, of course, we're more of a marketing company than anything else, but we also create websites because at the end of the day, we use digital marketing as our avenue digital marketing is what we, what is what we sell, right? And everything starts with the website. So if you have a great marketing practice, but your website does not give the user a good experience, then you're really struggling there. You're not making you're not doing it justice, if you will. Okay. So that being said, what I want to talk to you guys about is making sure that your website, A, converts when we do send traffic to it. And then B, we want to make sure that the website is secure. The only way to do that nowadays, I mean, the internet is full of ways to really, really sabotage your marketing. And a lot of there are some bots out there that are annoying bots that will put comments on your, just random comments on your, some of them are sexual in nature, which is kind of funny, but they'll put like random comments on your contact forms. But then there are other random bots that actually will instill some malware onto your website. And a lot of people, there's a misconception out there. A lot of times people say, well, that means your hosting package isn't robust. Yes, that could be it. But if you have security in your website has a lot. There's a lot to it. There's not just, okay, my website is protected because my hosting platform is protected. That's not always true. There are ways to to circumvent that through forms on your website. That's why you want to protect that. And also through other means in your website with these bots. So I want to make sure that everyone who are listening to this podcast are securing their website the right way. Okay. This is why we offer maintenance packages for our customers. So we create the website and then we also have a maintenance package. And a maintenance package, we have several packages in there. We'll have some that we actually update content for them and all that kind of stuff. And then there's others that we do just the plugin updates and security updates. And that's more of an insurance policy of, if you will, what we're talking about. Because you spent, a few $1,000s in your website, you might as well protect it. And a lot of people think, well, Frank, they only attack those big company websites, the highly trafficked website. That's not true. These bots are malicious. And these bots will attack your small business website. Trust me, it's happened. As a matter of fact, the reason why I'm running this episode, is because it recently happened to a client of mine. Not a client. Actually, it was not a client of mine. It's a client of mine now. They got their website built recently from another agency. And, it got attacked and we had to go out and clean it and all this stuff. And it just takes time to do all this stuff. Now, the company that they got it built from did a phenomenal job. It's a beautiful website, but they don't offer maintenance after that. So we do. And we got the name from one of my other clients referred them to us. And here we are doing a maintenance program for them. And it takes a lot of time and energy to do this. We are in there actually weekly because these bots are malicious. They used to be back in the day where you can get away with just once a month going into the websites and checking if there's any, new updates on the plugins or et cetera. Now, I'm strictly talking about WordPress websites here, which is what we build. WordPress is the best platform to build websites, especially if you want to do SEO or any kind of web traffic. It's got the best plugins for conversions and all that kind of stuff. So I always recommend WordPress. So this is primarily a WordPress thing that I'm talking about here. So, so it used to be we can go once a month, check the plugins, make sure it's updated correctly, make sure that the update that is there is not going to harm anything on the website, et cetera, et cetera. And then we do a cleanup. It used to be once a month. Now we do this, you know, it's coming to the point where, we've been doing it weekly, but I'm going to have a team. I'm going to have a team meeting, and I think we're going to have to do it like every 3 or 4 days, because these bots are malicious, man. It's unbelievable the kind of harm it's doing on these websites now, causing slowdowns. I mean, you can have a perfectly, quick, loading, your website loading perfectly fast, and you're running it, randomly great, and all of a sudden the next day it's slow as molasses. And a lot of people always blame hosting for it. It's not always hosting. It could be something that was infiltrated in your website through a plugin or through a form or however they get in. I don't even know how they get in. That's causing this. So what we do is we make sure that we identify these things, and we have certain plugins in there. So if you want to do this yourself, I'm going to recommend a few plugins that you can do. First of all, before we even go with the plugins, the first thing you have to do is make sure that your website has an SSL certificate, and it's usually free to have that. If like, for instance, if you host with us, we give it to you free. A lot of people host websites, and that's a free service, right? It's a protected website. The only company that I know of that actually charges for SSL, which I don't know why they do that, is GoDaddy. So unless you're GoDaddy, you can get SSL for free. So that's the first step. So even though your website is protected with SSL, the SSL really just protects against, especially if someone's gonna buy anything of your web, it protects the visitor of the website so that their information can't get siphoned. That's really what it does. It's not protecting your site per se. Okay. So it becomes like a trusted site, if you will. So that's the step. That's number one. That's the first thing that you have to do. And miraculously enough, this the reason I'm bringing that up. The site that we took over did not have that, which shocked me because everyone has that nowadays. And when I saw that they didn't have it, I was kind of shocked. But anyway, I digress. So we go back and let's talk about some plugins that you can do that can help you with this service. One of the plugins that I always recommend people is Sucuri, SUCURI, and I'll put a link in the show notes so you know which plugin I'm talking about. But it's a good plugin. It's free. It's a WordPress plugin. I believe there's a paid version of it. I'm not 100% sure about the paid version, but I believe there is a paid version of it. That's pretty, that gives you extra protection. I have to ask my team about that. So when I put the show notes in there, I'll make sure that my team updates if there's a paid. As a matter of fact, you know what? I don't even have to ask them. I just remembered there is a paid version of it because we actually purchased it for this new. Now that I'm going back to the conversation for this new client we just had, and there's a free version of it, but I would spend the money for the pro version because you get this added protection, and it's something like $300 a year. Excuse me, it's like $300 a year, and you get this added protection and all that. Or if you have a website maintenance company like LBMS, that you don't have to worry about that because they have a license for it. We have a license for it. But we always use the paid version. Anywho, I'm sorry, I got a little side turn there, but that's a really, really good plugin that you can have for that. Now, if you have a lot of businesses back when the iThemes templates were popular, we don't particularly build any websites on templates. We don't believe in templated websites. We believe in all custom, just out of the native, the native WordPress. Okay. But there are some companies that because they want to save time or whatever, build it on a template and do it a lot quicker. Yes, it's quicker, but I don't know. I'm more of a fan of creativity, and my team likes the creativity to create a brand new website for someone. Is it more expensive? Yes, but it's better because it's yours. No one else has a similar website. Anyway, I'm going around in circles. There was a very popular templated business where it was called iThemes, and it had a bunch of templates for all kinds of industries out there. And they did a lot of websites. There are a lot of websites out there with these templates, iThemes, and they have it works well with security, but to have an extra protection, you have to get. If you have this, the reason I'm mentioning this because so many out there. If you have this iThemes, you have to get an additional security. In addition to security, and it's $80 a year. It's called the iTheme Security Pro. Because these bots have found a way that if you're using this theme, even if you have security on, you can still go through the theme itself and have its vulnerability. I know it's a lot, and you probably don't even know if you have it or not. But if you have a web development company that maintains your website, ask them to go through it and ask them if they have iThemes. If not, then you can call us and we'll take a look at it for you. Okay, so if you let's say you want to know, because a lot of times people don't even know if they have a problem. There's a plugin called WP Scan. So WP Scan is going to scan the core WordPress system for any kind of malicious files. Now, I don't know if, let's say you have iThemes, the one that don't know if you could use that. The malicious core, if it's going to detect if that theme has it. I know it's going to detect if the core system has it. So, okay, so let's say you got security. Security is a good thing as well. Like I said, I think security is good. And if you have iThemes, you have to have that extra layer of protection. Another good thing that you can have outside of security, and it's a little cheaper. Security to me is top notch. This is why I mentioned it first. This one is good as well. It's called WordFence. And of course, and it's only $99 a year as opposed to $299 a year. Security I use because I am an agency and I have to be able to provide this to my customers. So probably for you, since you're not an agency, WordFence would be great for you to purchase and secure your website. I'm gonna repeat this again. If you have an iThemes template, you still have to buy the extra thing. So those are the most powerful patches that I can talk to you about, plugins. I'll put a link to each of them in the show notes. And last but not least, I wanted to talk to you guys about a service that a lot of times people, if you're hosting with other companies, and this is something that's also for some reason GoDaddy charges you for this. We typically don't. It's a service that we offer any of people who take on our maintenance. It's called Pingdom. Pingdom is a pretty decent, it's a plugin, and it's also a service outside the plugin that tells you when your website goes down or when it goes. Now, again, if you have if you have a contract with someone that's doing your maintenance for you, you don't need to get this. It's going to be a waste. They should have it. So ask them. Call them up. Say, hey, do you guys use Pingdom to notice? That's how we know when our websites are down. Now, we only provide that service when someone is in our server. But Pingdom is a great thing to have. Ask your ask your web developer if they have that service or not, and just from there you could then if they don't have it, ask them to implement it, of course. But if you don't have someone doing your maintenance for you or your insurance policy, if you will, then you could give us a call and we'll take a look at it, just like we did this other client. Now, why am I calling it an insurance policy? The reason I'm calling it an insurance policy is if you get hacked or if you get some kind of malware on your website, it is very difficult to remove. And depending on the company that you use to remove it, it can cost you a lot of money. So it's kind of like, if you have car insurance, you're paying this every month and you don't have to worry about it, because if you get into an accident or anything like that, the insurances take care of it, right? This is the same thing. So rather than getting hacked, which is happening a lot, unfortunately, guys, rather than getting hacked and then paying someone to clean it up and all that stuff, and paying thousands of dollars to remove all this stuff, and because it takes hours to investigate where it's coming from, where the holes are, because if you're hacked or if you have malware and someone then installs all of these plugins that we talked about today to protect it, you're already hacked. So the problem is already in the server somewhere. And that's where the money is to try to find that out. You have to be like Inspector Gadget, if you will, and do some digging. And in some cases, sometimes you have to get off of the hacked mode or to get off of the what's that called? It's a blacklist mode. It sometimes it takes a call to the search engine. Sometimes you have to try to connect with Google to do it. We're Google certified partners, so it's easy for us to do it. Sometimes it's very difficult for the regular consumer to do it. So this is why I'm recommending, you pay a monthly fee to anyone to, basically have an insurance policy on your website in case you do get hacked. Even if you have these plugins that I talked to you about, and there are so many out there. These are just the ones that I recommend. There are so many out there though. But even if you have it, it still can. It's kind of like having a car alarm. Just because you have an alarm doesn't mean that your car can't get broken into, right? So it's the same thing. So it doesn't mean that, but it is a preventive measure. And it makes it harder for the bots to do it. Sometimes it will have to be someone who really wants to break into your website to actually do it, and it's not so easy for the bots to do it. So it's not installing these plugins. First of all, is not a set and forget. Okay, it takes work. Like I said, that now I'm asking my guys to go in every 2-3 days or so instead of once a week. We went from once a month to once a week to now I'm asking them to go in every 3 days at least. Put it on your schedule to go in every 3 days to each of these websites, and check all these things, and any vulnerability on the plugins, because you never know, things can happen. So I mentioned blacklisted in a minute. Yeah, so before I close this episode, I want to mention a little bit about blacklisting. If your website gets blacklisted, that's a bad thing. If you're listed on the dark web as an untrusted source, it's a bad thing. And as a matter of fact, I think sometime next year, I'm going to ask my buddy and client of mine, also Ryan Barrett, who is the king of the dark web. He could probably enlighten us a little bit about that. So I'm gonna send an email to my admin and see if we can track down Mr. Barrett and get him on the show so he can educate us. But it's very important for you to understand the importance of not being blacklisted and not being in the dark web, because once you're there, it's very hard to get out. Because now you get eyeballs and you're going to be there for a while, and it takes sometimes 6 to 9 months to be totally free of it, and that's not a good thing. So I would advise you guys to take action on this. Take a look at the links that I have in the show notes. If you have a WordPress website and your website does not have these plugins, definitely get someone to install it for you if you have a web guy. If you don't have a web guy, just give us a call and we'll definitely do it for you as well. But with that, I wish you guys nothing but the very best. I'm going to put an end to this episode. Until next week, this has been Frank Deming, the local business guy. Take care and bye for now. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.